Soraya Martinez-Ferrada is here. Nice to see you again.
Nice
Welcome.
to see you.
I didn't know you were coming in. I thought we were doing this over the phone, but it's very nice to see you.
I mean, I was around, so
yeah,
why
of course.
not?
Just hanging around the area, so why not?
Yeah, why not?
So listen, we're going to talk specifically, and it's nice to see that you were out doing a press conference the other day. You said you did. I didn't see the one today. You were out talking about youth protection. You're being more visible. You're right now the prime candidate running against Luc Rabouin for Projet in the upcoming municipal election in November. And the press conference yesterday addressed something that we have talked about a lot, that I have talked about a lot on the show as well, and that's the situation with bike paths.
Yep.
Now, we're not going to discuss the amount of money the city spent to do this. The number is $500 million, apparently, over the years to get all these bike paths done. But you brought up a word yesterday, and I was hoping, expecting you would say, you know what, ça suffit, enough, let's take a look at this. You use the word audit. You're going to conduct, I think you said in your first 100 days as mayor, you would conduct an audit of the bicycle path network. What does that mean?
Well, that means that we have to make sure that what this administration has done, in many cases without consultation, without talking to the citizens and the business community in the streets, or they're put in, like they put the bicycle path. Now we have to make sure that, are they in the right place? Are they secure? Are they connected to each other? I wasn't there. And, I can't have that enlightenment in terms of telling you this is the wrong path, this is the not secure enough. I made the conference on Port-Royal in Nancy-Cartierville. There's many examples of other bicycle paths where there's Hydro-Quebec poles right in the middle of the bicycle path in Gouin, for instance. So I think we have to look at it in the sense of the city put a lot of money into this. This is citizens' money. This is our money that was put into this. So before doing anything, we just have to make sure that moving forward, we have to do the right thing. And we have to do the right investments. And if we do have to take them out, if there's one we need to take out, we have to make sure that we're doing that with expertise and looking at it. Because I think there's a lot of bicycle paths that were done without that consideration. I think, why Port-Royal? Why, on Chabanel? I was there yesterday. There's no way any merchant of the street can even have their food delivered. So I think we have to be very sensitive around the impact that this has done. And we have to make sure that, why both of the side of the street? Why eliminate the whole parking? I think we have to stop polarizing the conversation around bicycle paths against cars, against pedestrians. We just have to make sure that we have a city that works for all. And yes, we need to have an audit before going again on putting more money into this.
So having an audit would mean, for example, once you do this audit, some bike paths that are there now that don't make sense for whatever that reason happens to be, you will get rid of.
Well, I have to have an audit for that. I have to have expertise around that. I have to understand that if that's the case, tell me why it is not necessary in that street.
And then
take it out. If that needs to be done with an audit, yes. But we don't want to be against bicycle paths. We need to have bicycle paths. We need to have the right ones, and we need to make sure that the ones that we do respect the cadre bâti, respects our city, respects citizens that live there, respects merchants. Merchants have a drop of their business numbers drastically. I talked to people yesterday, they were thinking about closing down. That's big. That's people losing their jobs. So we don't want that. And we don't want to polarize the conversation around one or the other. You can have a car and have a bicycle. I can have a car and have a bicycle and walk down here coming to your studio. I think we can get a car and be a pedestrian all the same time. We need to have a mobility, fluidity, good investments, doing it in a way that is respectful to the citizens and making the transition to that with them.
So Jimmy Zubris, who's an advisor to the mayor, special advisor to the mayor, was on this morning with Elias, and this subject came up about your press conference and the fact that you used the word audit. I want you to hear what he said, and then you can answer, tell me what you think about this. So he's asked about this announcement you made yesterday about the audit of bike paths. Here's his comment.
Soraya Martinez, you know what? Assume it. Come out and say it. Hey, I'm going to get rid of this bike, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to get rid of that. Instead of coming out this thing, I'm going to have an audit of bike paths. Give me a break.
By the way, I've never heard Jimmy that agitated ever.
Well,
he's usually a low-key kind of guy.
Well, I don't know why he's mad. I mean, they've been there for 8 years. When you're a good government, you do things and you evaluate what you do. They should have done that even in the first mandate before going forward.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's good governance to say, you know what, we invested thousands of millions of dollars in which is a good project for the city as a whole city, being an international city that you need to have these bicycle paths. Of course. Now, if you're a good government, you should evaluate what you do in order to go back to the citizens and say, well, you know, this is what I evaluated. This is the changes we're going to do because we want to do better. That's just good governance. So I don't know why he's mad. He should have done it during government.
I think when he says audit, that word bothers him because, as I said off the top, if you said, look, we're going to look at the bike paths and the ones that don't work or don't make sense, we're just going to get rid of them.
Well, I just said that.
That's in essence, that is what you're saying after looking at them. Okay.
But you have to have the right expertise. You're not an expert. I'm not an expert. Well, I mean,
I'm an expert when I drive down a street and there's a bike path and no one is ever on the bike path and you question, why is this even here?
Okay, so then we have to understand that. And if it makes sense within a network, because you have a car and you go from one street to the other and these streets are connected, bicycle path and same thing. They have to be connected for the network to work. But we don't have that audit. We don't have that vision. We don't know what's needed. And even some bicycle path, even cyclists will tell you, I will not get onto the bicycle path because it is dangerous.
Right.
So what do? So let's do an audit and do investments. And the investments that we have to do bicycle path, make sure that we're securing the ones that need to be secure.
How long is that going to take?
Well, I want to do it fast, for sure. I mean, I don't want to, I'm there for a mandate. I've said everything that I've committed to. I want to make sure that I can do it within the first mandate. And for sure, I want to do that in the first year. I want to launch the audit in the first 100 years and make sure
days.
that...
Not years, first 100 days.
100 days.
You said years.
Because I would be very old by then. But yes, 100 days.
Uh-huh.
And I want to make sure that, you know, in the future investments that we do, we have that audit so we can tell citizens, this is where I'm going with the next bicycle path. And this is the one they're going to be changed, moved, secured. The plan will be known because it's going to be clear for citizens. Right now, there's merchants and citizens that just been told there was a big construction on a bicycle path coming up. They were not even aware.
Yeah.
So we can't work like that with all Montreals. We need to be clear and transparent of what's coming up. And that's what I want to do with the audit.
What do you so I'm a motorist. I mean, I have a bike, but I get around by car, like so many thousands of other Montrealers. And I often say this administration, whether it was by design or not, or ideology or not, has made, driving in the city harder, more miserable, more frustrating than it has ever been before. And it's happening in the midst of more cars than ever before being on the road. What do you hear from people you talk to? What do you, I asked you, what were you going to do for motorists? What's the answer to that?
One thing that I've committed to, I think a month ago, is we need to do better in terms of planning our constructions on the roads, making sure that maybe we're doing a bit less, but more efficiency, more quickly, and maybe not, closing down a whole kilometer of street if you don't need to. So I think we have to do a better planification. I said, a month ago that artificial intelligence is one of the things that a lot of cities are using right now, and we're not using it.
We don't even have synchronized traffic lights.
Well, that's my point. So I feel that this city is the heart in research in terms of artificial intelligence. We can be a leader in innovation in terms of what we're doing with the artificial intelligence, and we're not doing that. And I think mobility is one of the in the sectors of what we can use the artificial intelligence.
The other issue that comes up, I think Luc Rabouin actually said this because obviously he's not going to talk about bike paths. He said public transit. There's to be the focus on public transit. What's the stance on that for you?
Absolutely. And, I'm going to come up with my own proposal on that. And, I can wait and you can invite me again to talk about that. I come from the East Montreal. I've used to work in downtown. I used to go to Université de Montréal from the east part. It took me an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. In public transportation. We do have an issue in public transportation, and of course we need to find better solutions in order, by the time that the tramway comes from the east part, or we have a better service in the west and even north with the green, the orange line, we need to have transition and a better transition to offer to mobility, because if you don't have that, you'll still get your car. So transportation is a big part of what we'll be proposing. And I absolutely think that's also a part of the mobility that we need to
I
look
wish
at.
we had more time. We don't. I want to
Well,
thank you
have
for
to come
coming
back.
in. Sure. We will be very happy to have you come back.
All right.
And I wish you all the best. I thank you for coming in. As I said, I didn't know you would be coming by, and we will talk
Pleasure.
again. You have announcements coming up. We were just talking off air and saying, you know what, you're out there more now. People are beginning to know who you are. What's the next thing you have planned in terms? You said today was youth services. What were you
Youth
talking
prevention. I mean, we're talking about security. I mean, we have a youth. We need to make sure that we're supporting better our youth. Getting them into work, into sport events, into sport infrastructure. We have to make sure that we're putting more money into that and more coordination in every borough.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, because the mayor took some heat for this. You saw the video, I'm sure, that Jewish man being beaten.
Yes.
The mayor, kind of a weak-kneed sort of tweet. What would you have done? What would you have said?
Well, I said pretty much that this is not acceptable in our city. Any person, any parent, any man, woman with kids, anywhere cannot be beaten to how that happened.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this happened to a Jewish community. I do not know what happened in terms of what that entails. I know that the Jewish community has been very not feeling secure in the city, for sure. And I think everybody needs to feel secure. And it's a big part of what we need to do to make sure that we're, making sure that we have the confidence in police. They found the man and they arrest him. And I think that should be a good thing for citizens to know that we have a good service in terms of police.
Soraya Martinez-Ferrada, running for mayor, coming up in November. Thank you for coming in.